On this week's Throwdown, Kyle and Haley Ruth demo the workout.
We've got handstand walking, dumbbell box step overs, and rowing.
We announce these workouts right here on YouTube every Thursday at 1 p.m.
Join our entire community to practice the skill of competing.
Use the next 2 days to plan a strategy, grab some friends, and throw down on Saturday.
See where you stack up each week on our Throwdown leaderboard. It's free to sign up. Go to trainingthinktank.com/throwdown.
This week's workout is a chipper. It starts with 200 feet of handstand walking, then you have 20 double dumbbell box step overs, and finishes with a 1K row.
As always, we highly recommend that you have a judge, so ask your best friend to come over and do that for you. The standards this week for the handstand walk, it's 25-foot segments. 12.5 feet of that has to be unbroken. For the box step over, no part of your hand or upper body or dumbbell can touch the box, and make sure you stay within the vertical plane of the box on each rep. And the row, put 1,000 meters on it, and then your time stops when you hit it.
So we have 2 athlete demos. Kyle Ruth is a masters athlete. He's about 5'11", finished in the top 50 in the world in the Masters online qualifier. Haley is his wife, who's been in CrossFit for a long period of time. She's a taller athlete as well, which gives an advantage for the row and the box step-ups or step-overs, but doesn't have the higher level gymnastic skills, so that was the only portion of the workout that she scaled, and hopefully these 2 athletes can give you a context on how to approach the workout for yourself.
So Max, since everyone loves listening to you talk, we have this fancy new podcast, the Corpus Animus podcast, and this week you talked about burnout, huh?
Yes, we did. I think in CrossFit, a lot of times the competitive mindset of getting after really hard workouts week in and week out burns a lot of people out. And so we thought it'd be an interesting exercise to talk about burnout and how this throwdown and just learning how to have fun with competition has just reinvigorated all of us to be able to have some joy in the process of competing.
And so all of you guys know we have a new episode that will be released weekly on Wednesdays. Get your coffee, get your cereal, get your orange juice, and listen.
Let's go hear Kyle and Haley's strategy.
All right, 200 feet of handstand walk is a long way to handstand walk for me. So first and foremost, I'm gonna take that pretty conservatively. I'm gonna kick down, take a second between each of them. Dumbbell box step-ups, it's one of my least favorite movements in the entire sport. However, I have a goal of going unbroken on that no matter what. It's just like one of my personal goals in the middle of this workout. And then the 1,000-meter row, it's always tough finishing with rowing at the end of a workout. So my goal here is just to hold something steady, like 145 to 147 pace, and then drop the hammer for the last 200 meters. I think if I do that, that's gonna be the best that I can do in a workout like this.
My strategy is to start out with a big chunk of shoulder taps, and then from there just try and get them done. And then the dumbbell step-ups, go unbroken, try and move quickly, and then for the row, pick a pace that I can hold on to and just go.
All right, Haley's doing the scaled workout on the right-hand side. The scale we came up with was 10 shoulder taps for every 25 feet. So that's 80 total, and then the rest of the workout's the same for her. She's gonna do the normal box step-ups or step-overs and then the 1K row.
Yeah, it actually worked out where they were pretty close. I mean, I think the shoulder taps for her were a little bit faster just because she's really efficient at them. You can see how good her body line is. But for someone that's walking a little bit faster than Kyle, it'd probably be neck and neck.
Yeah, and I think, too, she's pretty proficient at shoulder taps. I'm not sure that most people will be able to do these in big chunks that can't already handstand walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks super stable on them.
Another scaled alternative for people is actually just going to a pike position or doing it from the ground in a push-up position. Just getting that single leg balance or single arm balance is an effective thing for training.
So for the handstand walk, it's 12.5 feet that has to be unbroken. Kyle's doing 25 feet unbroken each time. And you can see he mentioned this actually before, but he's looking at the clock and he's basically trying to take the same rest break each time between each of the 25 feet.
Yeah, so his strategy on video is a little bit different. He originally was saying that he would do the 25 feet on the 30 seconds, and I was like, man, I think that's a little too slow for this.
I think he meant to say on the 50 feet on the 30 seconds. Yeah.
Which would be on the 15 seconds you're doing 25 feet, which is doable. I mean, fast handstand walking, like we did a sprint thing and it was like 6 to 8 seconds for most males, which means you do a 25-foot sprint and then rest for 7 to 8 seconds and then just keep going back and forth like that for 200. And somebody like Noah can he's just gonna walk, turn around, and then start walking again and just going back and forth.
Yeah, the best males and females in the sport are gonna be going about 5 to 6 seconds on 25 feet, and then they're gonna rest maybe 2 to 3. So basically like every 10 seconds they would be going.
So Haley finished first. She got an interesting strategy. On one side, she lifts up the inside foot, and on the other side, she crosses over
I think she's
always
stepping up with the same leg every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The strategy I stole from Mia is the crossover step strategy. It limits the number of times you're on top of the box, and also limits the amount of time that when you step onto the other side that you're actually on the ground. It makes just a big difference. And she's doing it when she's on the left side of the screen to the right, she's doing it. So crossover, one step back, cross under with the opposite foot, and then generally when that right foot hits the ground, it comes back up in a crossover pattern. I think that's probably the most efficient strategy I've seen for box step-ups.
She got through him fast, though.
Yeah, 20 unbroken, and now she's on the row. Kyle's still handstand walking away. So he's about a minute behind doing the actual version of handstand walks versus the scaled version of taps.
I will say this, though, like someone, you mentioned Noah, someone that's efficient is going to be probably about a minute ahead of him. So on the handstand walk.
Yeah.
So they will be pretty close for those that are scaling, or those that are just doing handstand walks and their buddies scaling and getting mad at that.
Yeah.
So Max, you were talking about the crossover step. Kyle's obviously not doing that. I agree with you. I think crossover step's just way, way faster. And for those that are really good at box step-ups, one of the things that I would suggest with only 20 is a possible just one foot on the box and then stepping all the way over, which maybe we can demo that and show everyone, but that's really fast and efficient if you can get over the box easily.
I've never tried that, Brennan, so I might steal that.
It's actually
you can
really,
only
really
do
fast.
it though with the box in this orientation,
Correct,
right?
yeah,
Because like the ones at regionals, I think are too wide for that.
Yeah, you'd have to step twice on that.
But with the 24-20 box like this, where it's narrow for the 20, if you're a male and it's 24 inches, then it's pretty easy to step over with one foot.
Can we talk about the fact that Haley's pretty much holding the same row pace that Kyle said was his target?
She's a monster.
And she looks fine and super composed.
They do a lot of rowing in their garage.
Yeah.
So Haley scaled the handstand walk, but in most aspects, she's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, for sure.
So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think that's a way for people to be able to still have fun in the sport, not knowing that there might still be some skills that you're not able to do. I mean, some of the common ones would be pistols or muscle ups or handstand walking. You can still get a pretty good competitive style scale. And if you do it right, like if you're head to head and you're actually trying to create an appropriate scale, it can still be fun. I try to do this with Travis all the time and just let him like either give me a head start on a workout, but he won't do it because it's not a real win.
No, it is, Travis. It is.
I like this little framing of
I know, this
Kyle inside the little weight rack.
Chris, this is beautiful.
Something
Yeah, well done.
I noticed when I was judging him in this workout, and I've seen this in other athletes when they're rowing, that little like plop down of the handle as he returns.
Well,
I
what's
don't
that
think
for?
that's very efficient, but I think it's because he pulls hard and then like relaxes. I'm the opposite of that. I pull long and just like try to keep the handle level as I return, and I think that's smoother. But, different types of athletes, different strategies. Kyle's much more powerful than I am, so.
Yeah, I think something to consider, I mean, I talk about it in weightlifting all the time, but I think it's applicable in rowing also, is that appropriate row mechanics, if you're learning from a rower, are so that you can transfer into actually being in a boat. And if you have like a short, choppy row stroke, or you move the handle a lot, you're actually moving the boat or you're moving the oar. But on a rowing machine that's fixed, if this is how the rowing is going to be tested in the sport, there's just a lot of different types of strategies that people will use. Some people have really short returns and they're almost kind of deadlifting with arm pulls. And some people who are longer, like me as 5'10", are just going to have a more like natural row stroke that looks like it could transfer into the sport of rowing.
Yeah, the other thing too is that it depends on the workout. So, we have comments all the time. We had a comment a couple weeks ago how bad Travis's rowing mechanics are. He does like a 253 1K, which very few people in the world do. So regardless of that, obviously he's getting the work done. But let's say it's a leg dominant workout where you're doing a lot of squatting. Maybe for the first 500 meters of a row, you're just hinging at the waist to kind of get rid of some of that fatigue so that you can go back to a normal stroke. Or if it's something where you're doing a lot of pulling, maybe you are squatting a little bit more in your rows. So there's a lot of different ways that you can change the rowing technique based on the fatigue that you have in the workout. So that's another thing that CrossFitters should think about, where it's not always perfect row mechanics. It's more about how do I eliminate some of the fatigue or mitigate some of the fatigue.
I didn't want to cut you off, but Haley just finished the workout. So she was around 6:35 to finish, and she was a 3:52 row. She fell off her 150 pace right near the end, which generally maybe I would say, like, if you were coaching somebody, hey, start a tiny bit slower and then try to sprint finish, kind of how Kyle talked about with his strategy right beforehand, that he's going to try to lower his pace in the last 200 meters. So now we'll watch that, see if he's successful doing so.
So I don't think you're wrong with that strategy, but I have actually tried both. And in something like a 1K for me, if I actually go out hot and use the power when I have it, I do better by the end. But I'm someone that doesn't preserve power very well, so.
Or have that much.
Remember when I taught you how to do box step overs?
Yeah, that was a couple days ago.
So he kicked with about 100 meters left, 125,
a little too
something
ambitious.
like that. Yeah. Still a really good kick. I mean, he's down in the low 130s.
And then finish about 3:30 row, 7:30 overall. Well done to the Ruth family.
Go Ruths.
Thanks
Great
for
job.
watching.
They have
Project Pat.
matching outfits too.
Take us away, man.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Patar in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Patar.